Hi and welcome everyone. It's Kathleen here and today I have a guest with me. Isha is here. Hi Isha.
Hi, Kathleen. How are you?
I'm good and you?
I'm good too. And how is everybody doing today?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people already joining in
Oh,
and
okay.
saw some comments. I saw some comments about the newsletter that just went out. I will touch on that in a second. But first I wanted
Yeah.
to tell you what we are going to do today. And today is a sneak peek live. So this Friday, we will have our new release. It's called Delicate Details. And Isha and I are going to use a product suite from this new release and maybe sneak in another one or two new products and just show you, what you can get your hands on Friday. So Delicate Details will be available Friday, November 14th at 9 a.m. CT. And very exciting about our sneak peek lives, we always give away one full release bundle. And this release is pretty big. So it's about, I think, $479 value in that bundle. So one of you lucky people in the live chat is going to be the winner of that. And all you have to do is just be active in the chat. So every time you write something is another entry. So let us know when you give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you already follow, when you shared the video. And then, of course, also whenever you write something is. At the end of this live, Kinnery, who is behind the Pinkfish Studio name today, will randomly pick a winner who will get the full release bundle. And then for all of you joining us on replay, we didn't forget about you. We have two $50 gift cards to the shop, and all you have to do is just leave a comment below the video to be entered to win. And yeah, I think that's pretty exciting. I mean, as I said, it's a big release, and I mean, you Isha and I, we've already seen the full release, so we know it's beautiful as
Yes.
always. And then another fun thing about Friday, and I'm just gonna quickly share it with you for those who maybe are not subscribed to our newsletter or haven't seen it yet, just so that you're not confused by some of the comments. Our newsletter just went out that we will be releasing our watercolors on Friday as well. We've been working on those for a very, very long time. And together with that, we are also, this might seem like sad news at first, that we are now slowly going to discontinue our current inks. But there's a pretty big announcement connected to that, and that's that we are going to come out with new inks, improved inks in the sense of like the colors and how they work with each other. And together with that, we are also going to release matching cardstock, which we've been asked about for I don't know how long. So it's coming. I don't have like a specific date for you yet, but that is the reason why we are going to slowly discontinue the inks. Now, if you haven't finished your, all of the ink colors yet, and you want to get your hands on those, you can. We will still have one last restock of the colors so that you can get your hands on them and get a full set if you want to. But yes, so we've been asked about matching cardstock for so often, and that is a pretty big deal, to get right and to produce. So we wanted to make sure that we have colors that work great, that we were happy with, that we wanted to have as matching inks as well. So that's the whole reason behind it. And we're not changing like the formula as such. So our inks are still going to be great. It's just the colors, or maybe not, we will share more details as we go on. But I just want to share that so that you are not confused by maybe some of the comments in the chat. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Isha, why don't you tell us what we are going to work with today?
Yeah. Well, we are using the. Let me switch off. Move my camera. Okay. So we are going to use the Bloomscape product suite. I'm going to use the press plate. Kathleen is sharing, I think, the stamp set with that. And then I'm going to use the dies. I'm also going to use the stencils. Next is another sneak peek. We have a new sentiment set. It's called On My Mind, and it has got beautiful sentiments. So I'm going to use that with the coordinating dies. And there is another sneak peek. So we have a plate. It's called Trellis. It looks beautiful. If you can see, like, look at that. Look at the details.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is what I'm using. I don't know what Kathleen is going to show you other than the stem set, and
Well,
if she's showing you more peaks.
the
So
thing is, I don't even know what I'm going to use, so we will see if I will share more sneak peeks.
you are really very brave, Kathleen.
I just want to quickly, sorry, Isha. So Kinnary added something, a little correction. I said that our formula is not going to change. Correction, our formula will have a little change, but for the better, which, is always nice. And then there will be enough time for you to get your hands on, the colors that you're missing and like re-inks and stuff like that. So please don't be upset, don't be sad. It's not like those inks. I mean, if you've been loving those inks so far, it's not that you can't use them anymore as soon as we release new inks. It's just that we want to get it right when we also release matching cardstock. So it's not like our inks are bad or the colors are bad as such. You can, of course, keep using them. And we've been sharing, we've had our inks for 7 years, most of our inks at least. And we've been sharing lots and lots of inspiration and projects with those. So I think you will never run out of ideas to use those colors. So I just wanted to add that for those who maybe feel, a little disappointed at first, but don't be. Okay. So Isha, go ahead. You already foiled yours, I think.
Yes, so I foiled 2 of the panels with silver foil because I will show you why. And if time permits, I will show you how to use the reversed foil technique as well. But anyhow, so for now, for this card, I'm using 2 panels of the foiled cardstock. Just look at the shine. It's so pretty. Yeah. And then we are going to ink blend. And then I will show you how when we go further. So I use the press plate on my glimmer machine.
Yeah. So, I always love it when we have coordinating press plates because, to be honest, whenever there's a press plate, I usually grab that instead of the stamp, I have to be honest, just because it's so much fun to have that foiled effect. But for those of you who don't have a glimmer or a better press system, I thought I would show you what you can do with the stamp. And it's the same image, and it works exactly the same with the stencils and die, so that you can get whatever you prefer using. One more thing, whenever you have a question, it would be really helpful if you could put the word question in all caps at the beginning so that Kinnary and I and Isha can quickly, see it. So yeah, as I mentioned, I don't really know what I'm going to do. At first I had no ideas for today, and then I had too many ideas. So I don't really know where to start right now. So I'm just going to let Isha do a little bit of talking and explaining what she's doing.
So isn't that great if we have a lot of ideas, Kathleen? Like
it is, but at the same time, if you only have 60 minutes to get a card done, it's not.
Yeah, that is true. But that means the product is speaking to us, and it's really the full release is really nice. So I'm aligning the images here, the stencil number 1, and then I'm going to. Now for the color, for the leaves, I want to use 3 colors. Let's see if we can. I'm using grassy knoll first. And then I'm going to go all over my images.
So I just decided, I shared a few ideas with Isha before we started. And I just decided, I already stamped my image, as you can see. I'm going to use the stamped image. I was thinking about doing a little bit of heat embossing and rainbow ink blending, but maybe I will do that another time, or so I stamped my image with my MISTI. So I just put the cling stamp into my MISTI. Of course, whenever you're using a cling stamp, make sure that you take out the mat inside. And then I just stamped it a few times with detail black. And I did that before the live because whenever you're using, especially, dark inks, especially something like black, and you want to ink blend on top, your image has to be really dry, or you have to heat set it just to make sure that your ink doesn't smudge. So I wanted to be really, really sure that I'm not going to get any smudging.
Yeah, so here I'm using our 1/4" brush with the olive ink. And then we are just going to add some depth to the base of the leaves. And you don't have to be really precise. Like, we want some darks and lights. As you know me, I really love ink blending. Sometimes it's too many colors, but today I decided to, I tried to not use too many colors. Let's see how it goes.
So I think so Isha's using olive. I'm using sage for my first stencil layer. So I am going to use a little bit of a different color scheme, which I haven't fully decided on yet. I will just, grab whatever feels right. And we will see how that turns out.
That's a pretty color. I can't wait to see how your image looks.
Sage is a great color, and eucalyptus, so you can never go wrong with these.
You can't. Well, I think I like all the pink fresh colors, and the fact that they blend beautifully and they smoothen on its own with time.
And I would say, sorry. So with an image like this, so we have lots of smaller images. You can see that some of the openings are really small. So I think this especially is an image or an illustration that's great for someone who maybe is also new to ink blending, just because there's such small spaces, you don't really need to do any shading. It would get lost anyway. So you don't have to feel, stressed out that, where to put your shading, where to put your shadows, your lights and darks. You can just do one solid layer of one color and be done. You don't have to spend too much time on it, or you can do like I'm doing right now. So I am using one single color, but I'm just, in some of the areas, I'm lifting my hand up a little bit so that I'm not pushing it down that hard. And then in other areas, I am doing a little bit of a heavier blend. And that way I already get some lights and darks without even having to think about it.
Yeah, that's a great tip, actually. So I'm using my third green. I'm using my third green, which is evergreen, and just to the base of the leaves a tiny bit to add the depth. Because we are not going to use all the images on my card. So we need a lot of stress on whatever images we are going to use.
Oh, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but this is a 5-piece layering stencil set. So there are 5 stencils, but each stencil covers a different area. So there are no, openings that are layered on top of each other, if you know what I mean.
I'm moving on to stencil number 2 now, which is, let's see. It's the other set of leaves. We have two different kinds of leaves here. And for my card, I'm not going to use the bigger leaves. Like, I cleaned my sticky mat today, so it's quite sticky actually. So I'm not going to use all these bigger leaves. I'm just going to use the smaller ones. So I will quickly go back to my grassy knoll. And I know grassy knoll also. Sorry, carry on. I'm not going to use it like at full strength everywhere, just light and dark.
And I know I was just saying you don't have to stress about, adding shadows and stuff like that, and now I'm doing it. But I'm using
I'm
the
doing
same.
it too.
But I'm using the same color. So I used Peony once with my 1-inch blending brush, just a very soft blend, and then I'm using a 1/4-inch blending brush because these are really small openings, and just doing a little bit more of that same color at the base of the flowers. So that's how you can add a little bit of shadow, and you don't have to think about colors that would match and work together.
Oh, I love peony and sage combination.
Yeah. Question. Isha, how did you clean your sticky mat?
Oh, just I spray it with water, or you can wash it in the sink with water and then let it air dry. Never wipe it. And or what you can do is when you spray with water, rub it with your fingers. You will see some kind of small particles coming out. Remove those particles with your hand. Never use a towel or cloth or anything. Then let it dry, and it's as good as new. So it's very easy and it sticks like as if it was new.
And I think you can use mild soap, right?
I don't use soap, but
Okay.
yes, you can. Of course, I just use plain simple water.
Okay. Even better.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't need a lot of things and
Yeah.
things work. So now for my flowers, I'm using Raspberry Bliss. I'm going to use 3 colors for my flowers. So this one is Raspberry Bliss, but I'm using it with a light hand. And then on one side, I'm coming with slightly darker. So each flower has its own lights and shadows.
Raspberry Bliss is so good.
It's really pretty color. It's quite bright. So actually, I mute it down with candy apple and mulberry blush.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that combo because sometimes, yeah, it's quite bright and not everybody likes the bright colors.
There was a question, Isha, what sticky mat do you have?
Sorry?
What sticky mat do you have?
Oh, I have the waffle flower. I mean, I have waffle flower and Altenew, but I tend to use waffle flower most of the time.
Now I'm also going to grab some sweet mustard. This is the only time I'm doing 2 different colors on one stencil because I want to use a different color for the flower centers of those larger ones, and then another color for those smaller ones here that look a little bit like lavender, or something like that.
So for these flowers, I'm going to use blue color. So it's like my base color will be summer shower.
So actually we are using completely different colors.
Yeah, and
As it turns
I
out.
can't wait to see the result. You know, the end result always excites me.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to mix and match the same color family. That's what I do.
Exactly.
So I use summer shower as my base color, and now to add the depth, I'm using Paradise just to the base of the flowers. And then to the blue flowers, I'm using a bit more depth. I'm using Atlantis. You don't have to use them since I have all the inks. I love to play with them. So you can do with 1 ink or 2 inks. It's up to you.
Yes, there's always a workaround. If you don't, if you don't have a darker ink, just ink blend the first one again 2 or 3 times. Or if you have a dark one and want a really soft one, and just use maybe a large blending brush, 1 inch, and just do a really, really soft blend. So you can always find a way to work around it.
Exactly. And just make sure that you wipe your stencil in between because you don't want to contaminate the ink colors because that might give you muddy color. Now
Yeah.
I'm back to my pink flowers. I'm using candy apple again to the edges of my flower.
Question: when will the new release be available? On this Friday at 9 a.m. CT. The new release and the new watercolors will both go live at the same time. And I think I didn't even mention the watercolors will be already 20% off, and they will only be available at Pinkfish Studio. They will not be available at retailers, but they will be 20% off right away. And that is because these watercolors are based on our current inks. And since we are going to change them, we wanted to use that opportunity to give you a good deal. What else?
So exciting. And I can tell you the watercolors are really wonderful because I have used them.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
I haven't used them that much yet, I have to admit, but that's just because I'm not the greatest with watercolors. So I'm ready to be inspired by Isha and our other design team ladies who are really good with that. But there's so many things you can do with the watercolors. You don't have to use them for actually kind of coloring in a stamped image. You can, of course, also use them just to create things like backgrounds. So more abstract things where you don't have to, be great at watercoloring. which
No,
I'm
you don't
really
have
not.
to be
So
pro at watercoloring. You really don't have to be pro at watercoloring. You can create beautiful backgrounds or simple, ink smooshing. Yes,
yeah.
you can, instead of ink smooshing, you can do watercolor smooshing. It looks really nice, which actually I did try today. Yeah, no, yeah, it was
Yes.
really nice.
So yes, there will be, lots of inspiration, of course, as well for the watercolors. And there are 3 different sets of watercolors, and we kind of grouped them, in sort of like pastels, jewel tones, things like that.
They're beautiful.
Okay, I think I am done with my ink blending. As I said, I could spend hours and hours on this and add a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but I wanted to show you that it's really okay if you don't.
That's a good idea. I'm still at my ink blending.
And it's going to look great. I mean, it is worth it if you put in the time and effort, but at the same time, with illustrations like this that already look this beautiful, it's okay if you do like basic ink blending.
Exactly.
Just checking if... Oh, yes, there will also be watercolor cardstock releasing on Friday as well. And then there was a question about what's the English word? Like what thickness, how heavy the cardstock is going to be. And it's going to be between 100, 110, what is it, pounds? So about 200 GM, I think it is.
200 or 220 GSM, I think.
Yeah, 200 to 220. So 100 to 110 pounds.
It's quite thick.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. We really want a good, heavy cardstock that you can also use for card bases. That was really important to us, that it has a nice thickness and isn't flimsy, and can stand being, die cut with cover plate dies or used for dry embossing, things like that. And of course, we also, sorry, Isha,
carry on.
We are also, another thing that's really important to us is that it's smooth. So first of all, just because we really like that finish, just like, how it feels, but also because of the hot foiling, of course.
Okay. Yeah, and also the watercolors, the panel, it doesn't warp too much with water. That's the one thing which I really liked about it, because otherwise, most of the times the panel would warp. But this watercolor, paper, it can take quite a lot of water.
Yeah, and I have to brag. So the watercolor paper is actually made in Germany.
Yeah.
So it's a good
close
one.
to our heart, right?
Yeah, exactly. When is the new ink and paper going to be released? Oh, that's going to be a few months. So we wanted to share that with you already, just to give you that, the chance for stocking up if you want to, or for completing your set if you want to, and just, to give you a heads up. So it's not going to be like this year or anything. So yeah.
So I'm on to my last stencil. It's stencil number 5. And I'm going to use some yellow here. So actually, I went with all the primary colors, shades of primary colors like red, green, and yellow, red, yellow, and blue. And then I'm mixing and matching to create more colors.
Well, so I just die cut mine, and I didn't do a good job of taping down my die. So I think the bottom images might have shifted a little bit. That's what I get for being lazy. But
it's a bit tough to do it live. So, like, you have to stick to that timeline, right?
yeah. Also, I don't know, this week, or rather the last week, and this one, it's just been that kind of week for me. So it just fits.
So for these yellow flowers, to add depth, I'm adding clementine ink.
And you can see, so I only passed my die through once, and it gave me a beautiful die cut. I don't have to, all of the lines are cut perfectly. I just have to push them out because they are so intricate that they just, naturally stay stuck inside. But you can see I can take them all out without any issues. So I love that about, and also, of course, that it's just one die. So in theory, just lining it up once and getting a good die cut, if you also spend the time on securing it.
That's true. So I think I'm done with the flowers, which I need.
So I'm just going to put that
one
aside. I think there was a question that I missed. Hold on.
So that's good enough. I have my images. The ones I need is all colored. And now I'm going to die cut it. So I'm going to die cut it once, this one, and then once with a white panel, because I'm going to layer them. Let me align it.
So I was thinking of doing like a, what's it called, trifold card, like this, and then die cutting a window from my front, and then placing my die cut cards actually on this part here so that they would peek through, and then use one of our new cover plate dies that are coming on the card front to give it a little bit of texture. So that's the idea. So first, I have 2 card bases here. They are both A2 size side folding. And first I'm going to die cut my window, and then I'm going to use one of the upcoming cover plate dies for dry embossing, because if you do dry embossing first and then want to die cut something from it, you will kind of flatten down the dry embossed texture again. So it's important that you do your die cutting first. And this time I am going to tape this down well.
I moved my panel. Sounds like a great idea, Cathy. Can't wait to see your finished card.
So this time, I mean, maybe with how the week and everything is going, I should probably measure that it's centered, but I'm not going to. Maybe I will regret it in a second. We will see. That was not too smart.
And then I'm going to die cut it once again using a white
Yes,
hard
it is.
layer.
Yeah, sorry. So someone was asking, you mean US A2? Yes, I am always talking about the US A2 card size. I think that is, most people watching are more familiar with the American card sizes, so I am referring to the US A2. So that was this one, and this one, sorry. This one is a die from the Dotted Fancy Frame. So this is a set that has been released a while ago, and it's one of my favorite kind of standalone dies. So you can use them. There are three sort of pairs. Hold on. And you can use them either on their own, each to die cut a panel like this one, or you can use it together with the other die to die cut a frame. And it's a really versatile set. Okay. So Isha already showed you what cover plate die she is using, and she's going to use the trellis, which is beautiful. But I thought I would give you one more sneak peek. And I'm going to use the Petal Grid cover plate die for dry embossing my card front. So that is two of the three cover plate dies that will be part of the new release. So for that, I need my die cutting machine, and you need the correct setup for dry embossing. This, may vary from depending on your machine and everything. So make sure that you have the correct setup, and you know your machine best if you need like a shim or anything.
So I have most of my parts ready. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss using the cover plate die.
And this is the texture that you get from this one.
So I'm going to put the cover plate die on my cardstock, and then we are going to emboss it as per your manufacturer's die cutting machines manufacturer's advice, like which mat to put where. Give me a second.
Okay, so this is kind of the idea, so that I will put this inside. I will adhere this here, and then I can arrange.
So look at the embossed texture. It looks so pretty, right?
Pretty. Yeah.
So I'm going to use it here. And then what do we have? Yeah, the second panel, foil panel. What I'm going to use, I'm going to use the single stitch rectangle die, and I'm going to cut it this size and slightly at the angle, because I'm focusing on this flower. So this will be my main focal flower, and this is like almost at the sweet spot in rule of thirds. So yeah, I'm going to die cut this panel.
So I just wanted to share a tip for what you can do if you want to arrange your die cut pieces exactly like it is on the stamp, because they are perfectly spaced out like evenly and kind of distributed what sort of flower is where. So if you want to have sort of a guide, what you can do is either you use the stamp and a very light ink and stamp it directly onto your card base, and then you can use that and just place your die cut pieces on top. Or if you have the press plate, you can just use the press plate, run it through your either better, like with the better press letterpress system without any ink, or dry emboss it very lightly onto your cardstock, and then you also have that guide for placing all of those images.
So I'm going to try to use 3 of the yellow flowers and 3 of the pink and 3 reds. Let's see. This will come. No.
So I'm going to place my stamp. Oh, I should have taken out my mat. See what I've told you before. And I'm going to stamp it onto, hold on, I have to keep in mind this will be open like this. So I actually need to stamp it here.
I'm not going to use all the images as I said before.
And I'm just going to use Misty Coast, and I'm going to stamp it very lightly. So even if I don't get a perfect stamped impression, that's fine. I don't need it to be perfect because I will cover up all of those images anyway.
So this is like a puzzle, right?
Exactly.
I'm trying to find out which flowers I want where.
So now I have my guide. And I was actually thinking of maybe adding a little bit of color to the background, a very soft color. So let me just think what that could be. So that it's not white on white.
I think I didn't color this image. We are going to improvise. Oh, I did. I think it's all mixed up now. So, what do you think? It's all about fun, right?
So pretty.
I'm having fun, even though I can't find my pieces. I lost it somewhere.
Okay, I'm going to add a very soft ocean breeze blend to this piece.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer these colored images onto the plain die cut. This is just to give it some sturdiness, and it will give us some dimension as well, since they are quite dainty.
Just realized I haven't checked questions in a while. So if I missed anything, but I think Kinnery's doing a great job of answering everything. But if there's anything we missed, then please just ask again. And of course, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video. This would really help.
So I'm layering all my colored pieces with white cardstock.
Yep, we'll be doing the same.
And just to find them in this huge pile of die cuts is a big
That's
big
true.
So maybe for the video now, I'm just going to add. I'm not going to add dimension to all the florals. Just whichever I will find easily.
Now keep in mind, all of these inks, so these are dye inks, and they will dry. When they dry, they will lighten a little bit, and they will also smoothen out a little bit. So even if it looks a little bit splotchy in some areas, like here, this will be completely fine once the ink is dry. So I'm not going to obsess about that part. So just to show you what this will be. So now you have this kind of window that also has a little bit of color. And I was going to do the same thing as Isha, because since these pieces are so intricate, it would be a pain to try and add foam tape or foam dots to all of these little pieces. And I'm going to try and add like blank pieces as well for a little bit of dimension. And we will see how far I get.
I was trying to do that, but then,
I know. That's what I'm saying. I will try to just add those that are in the center, so that they stand out a little bit more. So yeah, we will see.
I'm not doing it for all the flowers.
My problem is I have a bunch of die cuts here on my desk behind me from different sets. So it's not only that I have to find the correct flowers, I also have to find the correct set.
We can go with the flow and improvise, right, while creating.
Exactly.
That is why crafting is fun and relaxing.
Maybe question: will the new colors use the same formula? They will have the formula will be a little bit different, as Canary stated before, but it will be for the better. So we are going to improvise it a little bit. Not improvise. God, improve. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry. We are improvising here, yes, but
Yes, we are.
So yeah, I think I'm going to do just a few of those flowers that are more in the center with the extra layer, so that you don't have to watch all of that gluing all the time.
Yeah, for me it was taking forever, so I improvised.
Yeah.
And I'm not hoping. I'm sure this will also look nice. So we have 3 of yellows, we have 3 of this, and we have 3 of the blues. And here it's all, yeah. So I can leave all these pieces aside and I can use them later. This is all what I need for now.
Just want to add the center flowers.
So now I'm going to cut this extra flowers.
And I know I could have made my life a little bit easier if I had just kept the die cut pieces inside the die and then just kind of added adhesive there and pressed it onto my card. But
Yes,
you live and you learn. So
that's what happens. We don't realize what we are doing. So this is how my panel looks.
so
Now
pretty.
just wait. Thank you. Now, for the time's sake, I already have my sentiment stamped and die cut. And then I die cut it with 3 more colors like yellow, pink, and blue. And I want to match these 3 with our inks, which we use because I didn't have the matching cardstock. Now we will, once the new cardstock is released, we will have matching colors.
Yep.
So for now, I'm just going to add a touch of color because it will peek through the behind the sentiment, and if it matches to the ink colors which we used previously, it looks better. These are
Yep.
tiny details, but
Yep.
these make a lot of difference in the final outcome, I feel.
That's true. I think it makes the whole card and the whole composition even more intentional because,
Exactly.
it shows that you even thought about what colors to add for your shadows. And so, yeah.
Yeah, shadows was the word which I was looking for. What I was telling you, like I'm in my perimenopause, and somehow the words just, I know what I want to say, but it doesn't come in my brain. So I'm dealing with that at the moment. The brain fog.
Yeah, everyone's dealing with some sort of.
Yeah.
Someone
So
was asking about the February event. So if you've missed it, first of all, the registration for our next Create and Connect event, Creative Passport, is open. It's going to be in February 21st, 22nd, I think. And someone was asking if we will be using the new or the old colors there. And in that event, we are still going to use the current ink colors because instructors are already working on their projects for that. So, of course, they have to use the inks that they have right now, which is the current ones. So, yes, if you have those, then you will be perfectly fine for the event.
So I'm slightly offsetting my sentiment. First, I use the yellow one, and then I'm going to use the pink. Again, slightly offset with the yellow. And then finally, I'm using the blue and offsetting it with the pink shadow.
Okay, friends, don't worry. I'm not going to torture you and make you watch me glue all of these pieces for the rest of the live. I just want to get a few done to give you an idea of what that's going to look like. Maybe one other larger one, and then I will call it done for now. And I will add the rest after we finish the live.
So
Because,
I'm going to,
it's you know
sorry.
how it's done. Go ahead.
I'm going to adhere the background panel, embossed panel onto a card base. And then we are going to adhere our colorful panel with 3D foam tape. Like that. Sometimes what I'm scared of is during the live, the sentiment or whatever, it doesn't like to adhere it. Usually I would eyeball it, but most of the times during the live or live class, it's difficult to, it's always wrong.
Eyeballing is half the fun.
Yeah, true. So now I'm going to adhere my panel to the card, and I hope it's straight. Because after all the work, we don't
Yeah,
want the panel to be wonky.
that's true.
Yeah. And I use the T ruler to align my panel because it makes life a little bit easier. And then we are going to adhere our sentiment like that. And we have plenty of color because we have the color behind peeking through our sentiment as well. And I'm looking for 3D foam tape. And
So
here
I'm
we
just going to trim off a little bit on one side here because I will be adhering this inside of this
It's
piece.
looking really nice.
Thank you.
I really love how your card is coming along.
So, and I think after the live, I don't think I have enough time, but I think I'm going to add the matching frame for this cutout window. Maybe with some glitter cardstock or just colored, like a colored frame or something. But I think it will help, you know, kind of define this whole thing even more.
So I've adhered my sentiment, and this is how my card looks. There is a lot of shine because of the silver foil. I hope you can see
So
that.
pretty.
And as you see, we don't need all the colored images. Just a few can do as well, and the card would look nice.
And the fun thing is now you have die cuts left for another card or even two cards.
Yes, and I'm going to show you the other one. I have used the same die cut, but here, as I told you, I didn't use the blank layer behind each of the image, but I can show it to you here in my this card. If you see, all the images are slightly more raised. So
I feel like, I mean, it is a little bit of work adhering all of these little die cuts, but to me, it's worth it. But if you don't feel like doing that, you can, of course, totally skip that. Or maybe just pick a few that you would want to pop up, maybe like the larger ones or something. That also adds a really fun effect. So you can play
yes,
around with that whole dimension thing.
yeah, that would give more interest to the card. So I'm keeping this aside, and I want to show you the reverse foil, what I did with the reverse foil. So I used our solid plate. If you know this one, we have the solid plate. And because I have so much foil left over and I don't want to waste it.
Yep.
So here I foiled the panel, the reverse foil panel, and it looks like it's almost perfect. And then what I did is, so here is the card which I made using the reverse foil. So I foiled one panel like the background panel, and then I cut the reverse foil panel, this panel, and then I added color to the because once you remove the foil, the plastic from here, we have paper underneath, and this paper will take the ink beautifully. So I added raspberry bliss and I think sweet mustard for the yellows, and I used one of the leftover floral and the sentiment from the same set, which this one, on my mind, with care, with love. It's such a beautiful sentiment. And so one tip is to use 1 inch blending brush, because ask me how I know. Because if you use the half-inch brush, it might give some scratches to the foil, but 1 inch brushes are really soft and fluffy, so it won't give scratches to the background foil. If I have, well, anyhow, so this is the colored panel of the reverse foil, and then I aligned it to with the background foil part, and we are done.
So pretty. And
Yeah,
such a nice,
so
you know, use of that leftover foil. So I know by the way, the solid hot foil plate is currently out of stock, but some of you, because we've had the solid hot foil plate for, I don't know, years now. So some of you might have it in their stash already, or you might be able to get it somewhere else if you don't have it yet. So yeah.
this is really helpful, the solid plate. I use it all the time. Just make sure you have the foil friendly cardstock, which in US people don't have any problem with. For us Europeans, it can be a little bit of a problem, but we can use that color copy paper.
So let's see. I just die cut the frame from some white glitter cardstock, but I completely forgot that, of course, it would be inside of my window because I used a larger frame to die cut my windows. So of course it would fall through. So we will see. We will see what I will do.
It's looking very pretty, very pretty.
I still have to finish that card, once the life is over. So maybe I will just add a little bit of acetate or something behind here so that I could put my frame on top, or I will just keep it as is, or actually I could put the frame on here exactly in the place that
Really
it would.
pretty.
So I think that would work nicely. But of course, I can only do that once I'm done with adding all of my flowers. So I will set that aside and then also find a way to add a sentiment. I have a few flying around here that I've stamped before that I can't find right now, of course. There. So here's one, for example. I think that also was also made using the On My Mind stamp set. And I used the Here's to Small Wins. I have that left over, so we will see. I will find a way to add my sentiment. Maybe a few small drops somewhere. Sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much my card, sort of done. You can see where it's going. I don't want to bore you
Looking beautiful.
with having to watch me glue all of these tiny pieces down. So, oh, I didn't know Kinnery was going to give away the full watercolor bundle as well. I just noticed. So, hold on, let us flip our cameras to our faces. Isha is going to do that in a second. Oh. So, hold on. I saw winners being announced. So, Cathy Fuller Designs, you win the full November release bundle. Congratulations. And
Congratulations.
Virginia Busch 139, you win the watercolor bundle. And all you two, so first of all, congratulations. And all you two have to do is email customer service at pinkfreshstudio.com to claim your prize. And then, of course, for both of these, you will have to wait until at least Friday before they go out to you because they have not been released yet, but it's not that long anymore. So, and for everyone else, make sure to keep your eyes open for the full release on Friday, 9 a.m. CT. And until then, we will be sharing a few more sneak peeks. So if you've not been following us on Instagram, make sure you do so because we've already shared more sneak peeks there of some of the other product suites. And tomorrow and on Thursday, we will share more. And then on Friday for the release, as usual, we will have a blog hop with tons of inspiration, lots more giveaways. We will have the release intro video where you can see the full release up close. Lots of things going on. So make sure to keep your eyes open and subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to or follow us on Instagram, YouTube, all of those places. And if you've enjoyed today's live, we would, of course, appreciate a thumbs up. Thank you, Isha, for joining me today. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you, Kathleen, for having me. I had fun too. And yeah.
And I just want to make sure that you can get your last minute questions in. If you're watching this on a replay, if you have any questions, please just leave them below. We regularly check the comments on our YouTube videos, so we can get back to you then. Question, can we purchase part of the complete set? No. So, well, you can, all of our sets are always individual in the sense that you can just purchase, for example, the stamp and die, or just a stamp, or just a press plate, whatever floats your boat. We don't do bundles because we think you can just pick and choose whatever you like. That being said, if you only want, for example, the sentiment stamp set that Isha and I were using, you can, of course, do that. But, of course, you can't get just part of a stamp set. But yeah, the stem set, so the On My Mind that Isha and I were using is a stem set by itself. It's like a standalone piece, so you can just get that if you want to. Just checking if there were any more questions. What were the blues that Isha used? Can you remind us?
Okay, I for the lightest blue, I use the summer shower. For the second color, I used paradise, and for the last one, I used
Atlantis?
yes, Atlantis. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
By the way, good question about the supplies. So right now, we always share our supply list in the video description. Since almost all of the products, apart from inks and one of the die sets, are not have not been released yet. We haven't added those to the video description, but as soon as the full release is available, we will make sure to update that video description, and you can find the full supply list with all of the inks that Isha and I use, all of the dies, stems, and all of that. So yeah, I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. As I said, if you have any more questions, just leave them as a comment below, and make sure to follow us everywhere for lots of fun.
Yeah,
And
that's the
inspiration.
best way to not miss anything, all the
Exactly.
inspiration. There is
Exactly.
plenty of it coming, so yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Was there one more? No. I think we're good. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I hope you have a great day, evening, wherever you are, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye everyone.